Hello and welcome, David Baker. Welcome to the Wisdom for Life podcast. We're glad that you're here. And this is Wednesday's podcast, and we're trying to do wisdom for our country on Wednesday. And so a lot of different topics and a book I'm going through, but because of the historic nature of so many things that are going on, I thought I'd take a few weeks and maybe talk about those, especially Roe versus Wade. Now, don't turn off and say, oh, yeah, I've heard all this. And I don't think you have. I taught something the other day. And I had so many people say, wow, I've heard so much about Roe versus Wade, but I've not heard that. This won't be a long podcast. I want to just give you the gist of it and help us to understand truly, sincerely, really what is going on. And so, as you know, in 1973, January 22nd, the United States, quote, legalized abortion by Roe versus Wade. And what they did was they used some argument using the Fifth and the 14th Amendment to call the Due Process Clause, and they came up with a right of privacy so a woman could abort her baby. I want to read the Fifth and the 14th Amendment that has to do with this. So, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So, when you just hear that, what does that sound like to you? No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Is the baby deprived life? Yes, she is. The baby is deprived of life. And were they given due process? No. The 14th. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Do they give that baby equal protection? Is the baby deprived of life? Yes. So the very amendments they use to create this wrong legal precedent really should defend and protect the life of a child. It really should. And so, but what they do somehow in there, the court finds in this due process a right of privacy. And this right of privacy then guarantees a mother that she can abort her baby without any legal ramifications of it. That's how they did it. That's why Ruth Bader Ginsburg even said that this is bad law. It's not based on law, okay? And so we know biblically, and I'm not going to go through all that today. We know biblically it's a baby, it's a child. The Bible never says a woman was pregnant. It says the woman was with child, okay? It is a baby. The baby leaped in her womb. And all those things you know and you have heard. I just want to talk about the legal aspect of it, the wisdom for our country. So Roe versus Wade is overturned, finally. And so what that has done is bringing it back to the states. And this is where I disagree, and I think this is wrong. And I know a lot of other people believe this too, but you don't hear this as the mainstream out there. Everyone's excited, yay, Roe's overturned. It's gone back to the states. Now each state is going to fight that, okay? And I'm glad they are. I'm glad we live in Tennessee, and I'm sure Tennessee will totally, I believe they'll totally outlaw abortion in Tennessee, and believe that we'll work toward that. But what that does is it puts 50 battlegrounds every election cycle on who's going to be in charge and which way it's going to go. And in the meantime, millions, do you hear me? Millions of babies in America are still going to be killed. Millions of babies in America are still going to be killed. And this is not going to stop abortion. In fact, some states are going to make it even tourism abortion, where, hey, come to our state and go to a spa and live it up and get your abortion and come here and use it to make money off of it. There are states in America, in the United States, that is going to do that. Well, it's like, well, it's a states' right issue, isn't it? So that's where it has to be done. Listen carefully. No, it is not. It is not a states' rights issue. So, the 10th Amendment of the Constitution says that the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Very simply, it says the things that we did not give the federal government to do, those are reserved and left to the states. Okay? So, for instance, did we give in the Constitution, or did the states give the federal government anything to do with education? No. So the federal government should then what? Abolish the Department of Education and not have anything to do with education. That should be left to the states. and to the local municipalities and the local school board. Hey, local school board, you can go to that meeting. You can go there. You can show up. You can protest. You can say this is wrong. And if they don't do right, you can vote those people out the next time and put some good people in. Done. Try to do that in Washington. Okay, go get in on a meeting up there. Say, hey, this is wrong. We want to change this. Try it. Okay, you can't. Education should not be a part of the federal government. All right, here we go. Marriage. Was marriage ever given to the federal government? No, that should be left with the states. Marriage should be a states' rights issue, and states should fight over that. And some states will have gay marriage, and some states will not. Okay, why? Because that is a states' right issue. It was never given to the federal government. Healthcare. Was healthcare ever given to the federal government? No, it was not. They should have nothing to do with that. Now, the federal government's into so many things they should not be into, but Medicare, healthcare, they should not be in that. They should not be in Social Security. Private, they should have found better ways to use the money instead of Social Security. Federal government was never given that right to do it, and by liberal politicians and liberal Supreme Courts, that's been allowed. So what about this? Was the federal government given the right to handle abortion? Here's the answer, very simply, yes. Why? The federal government wasn't given a lot to do. Go read the Constitution. It doesn't take very long. But one thing the federal government was given the responsibility to do, even in the Declaration of Independence, okay, there are three things listed as inalienable rights. What is that? An inalienable right is a right given to us by our God, by our Creator, it says, that cannot be taken away from us. In most countries, the rights given to the people are given to it by the king, or by the parliament, or by the legal authority. In our country, those inalienable rights are not given to us by the government. Listen, if the government can give it, then it can take it away. But if the rights were inalienable, they can't be taken away from us because they're given to us by our Creator, then the federal government is just supposed to protect those rights. Okay? And so the Declaration of Independence, and it says those inalienable rights given to us are not to be taken away, and that is the right to, here we go, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those things were written in the Declaration of Independence, and they were supposed to be protected by the federal government. The right to life. That's why it's called that. Okay, the right to life. We have been given the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to pursuit of happiness. And the federal government should be protecting that. Now, go back to the 5th and the 14th Amendment, where it says, no person shall be, let me find it again. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Is that baby deprived of life without due process? Yes. So according to the 5th Amendment and the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, the federal government should be protecting the life of that child. So what would that mean? That means it doesn't go back to the states. That means the federal government totally bans abortion in these 50 United States. Oh, I thought you were for states' rights. I'm for states' rights on the things the states are supposed to take care of. But federal rights on the things the federal government is supposed to take care of. There are some things the federal government was given the responsibility to care for, and life was one of them. Yes, I'm glad Roe is overturned. Praise the Lord. Needed to be from the beginning. It's hard to believe it's been going on since 1973, and that some 60 plus million, the latest true estimate I saw, 67 million that they know about, and they know there's so many more that we don't. 67 million babies in America were killed. 67 million? Unbelievable. Yes, that should have been overturned a long time ago. But we should not stop there. It's okay, no problem. It's back with the states. It shouldn't be. We should elect people that are going to put people in president, that are going to elect the right people in the Supreme Court, that understand that the federal government is given the right to protect life of a baby that has a beating heart and is its own person. It is inside of a mother's body, but it is not the mother's body. It is a baby's body, and it should be protected. Okay? Think about that. If you have any questions, let me know. You can email me, askpastorbaker@gmail.com, and glad to answer any of that. But that right to life should be protected by the federal government. Okay? Hope that was a help to you. If you have any questions, let me know. God bless you. Have a great week.